happy to be here with you. Maybe first of all, I will introduce myself before to speak about social and solidarity economy. So I'm Manon Abadi, co-founder and CEO of Camlin Lab. Camlin Lab is specializing in multiplying social impact, working on diversifying funding, and as well to strengthen capacities on NGO in Morocco and in Africa as well. So I'm so happy to be with you today. If you have any problem to see my screen or to hear from me, just let me know in the chat or just taking the floors to you, because I think it's a very important session, as today we are speaking about social and solidarity economy. This is the sector where you are part of as association and NGO. Today it's an overview and an introduction because, well, this thematic could be a class of 20 hours, but today the important is just to give you an overview and to a little bit introduce this concept what you are working with and dealing with every day. So I hope you can see my screen, and today we will have three objectives. The first one would be about identifying founding's value of the social and solidarity economy and distinguish between its different structure, because depending the country where you are and your reality, you can find cooperative associations, mutualist company, and as well social enterprise. After that, we will explore the current dynamic, challenge, and opportunity in the African continent. This is something important. We will have a discussion about how you can work on social economy in your continent, what's your opportunity and your challenges as well. And to finish, I hope that we can discover concrete initiatives from you and have a reflection on the condition of a favorable ecosystem. I know that this is an ambitious program, but I think we can do it during these 2 hours. Um, After each part, I will give you the time to react and to ask for question if you have any questions. So feel free to exchange. As we are 20 people, I think we can have a free exchange during this session. So I hope you can see my screen. Is it that correct? Yes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
perfect. So to in this session, we will have 8 parts. The first one is for sure introduction. The second one is about definition. What is the social and solidarity economy and what is not? Because this concept is easier to be defined by negation than a strict definition, especially in at continent level. As well, we will see the principle and as well structures of this social and solidarity economy. We will see as well the context of social and solidarity economic in Africa, as well as the challenges and opportunity. And we will see how right now government are building or trying to build a favorable ecosystem for this part of the economy. We will finish the session with a discussion between us. So first one about introduction. So I just want to know what are your expectations for this session? What do you want to know more? So feel free to tell me and just open your mic to say what do you expect from this session. Just to say that I'm so sorry. I'm French, so and I speak English, but I hope that my French accent is not a problem for you. If you don't understand, just you tell me to repeat, and I will try to repeat and to say it in another way. But to start, I just want to know what's of your expectation for this station. You can write it in the chat, or you can just open your mic to share. Yes, will to impact. I see your hands raised.
Thank you for the floor. My name is Christian Di Curio. I'm the founder of and the legal representative of with Impact Association based in Burundi. This session is very interesting, and I think that's the best way we as I'm saying for our organization, we are at the beginning of the organization, and we are dealing to attract a grant that will help to for proceed and fulfill our mission. So with this session, we'll know we've learned before this session about the project design, but behind the project design, there are ACCA. That means that will be completed, that will be able to present much and better uh, project proposal that will be successful. And I hope that will be attractive and fulfill our mission for our belongs organization. Thank you.
Thank you to you for this sharing. And yeah, you're totally right. Well, this is, I think, a macro session where we are speaking about all the ecosystem you are working with, and you will have a special part on stakeholder working on social and solidarity economic. And I think it could be a good way to give you other idea on opportunity you can have as actor of this sector to raise fund and to implement your mission, because this is your goal as organization. So definitely. I see as well that Amanda is sharing that she hoped to find the intersection of the social and solidarity economy ecosystem. Yes, we will try to, definitely. And for me, it's very important to listen to you and to listen about your reality in Africa, because for sure, I cannot give you an overview for a special country, but for all the continent. So the discussion, I think, would be very important for you and for me as well to understand a little bit more the reality of this sector in Africa and especially in your own country. So let's go to demystify this concept right now. So first we will try to define what is the social solidarity economy. So just to know, it's a fuzzy concept. Like you don't have a straight definition about this concept. You cannot just open a book and say, okay, I can read the definition and that's it. No, because this term remains vague and polysemous, and it depends on the context, as well as some country has legal framework about that, others have not. So we can imagine a little bit the form of the context, but it's more easy as well to define it with the reality and the current operation on the field. But some country and part of the world has tried to define it. So for USA, for instance, it's all non-profit organization. So it could be um, association, foundation, as well as social company, for instance. For the United Kingdom is related to voluntary sector. For Latin America, we are speaking about popular social economy in a bottom-up perception and saying that this is the part of economic leading by the population and human-centered. And for Morocco, Morocco has its own legal framework on social and solidarity economy. There is as well other expression depending the country to name it. There is the third sector, the associative economy, non-profit sector are also used to designate this group. Is very important because as this is not something very clear, everyone is trying to adapt it to its own reality, and it's okay. You just have to know that when you are speaking with a potential donor, for instance, when he's speaking about solidarity and social economy, maybe is not the same definition that you have. So it's important to just have a clarification and a common understanding about what is social and solidarity economy is. So trying to defining it a little bit more. So social and solidarity economy is a form of economic organization that combines economic performance with social and or environmental benefits. It's aimed to create sustainable value, inclusive job, and collective response to needs not met by the states or the market. It's like an intermediate, between the state and the market. And this is a part of the economy trying to respond to local needs. It could be social needs, it could be environmental needs, and it could be as well do in an economic performance, but always combining these three parts. And this is something very important in the mindsets of social and solidarity economy. You cannot just be social or environmental. You have to think as well about economic performance, even if you are non-profit or non-profit, because you should have a balance between your economic way and as well your social goal, because you know that you need some economic resources or income to go through your social or environmental mission. That's why it's something quite important to have in mind. And as well, we can see that we have three key pillars to define the social and solidarity the social and solidarity economy. The first one is the democratic management values. It's one person equal one vote, regardless the part you're invested in. And you can even not invest money in the structure part of social and solidarity economy, but this is about everybody as the same power when he's speaking. And once you have to take some decisions, you have the same weight than other people. This is not about money, this is about a democratic management. The second pillar is about no individual profit making, surplus or reinvested. This is that you will not do profit. All your income and revenue are focused on your social or environmental mission, and this is something very important. And after that, as a part of social and solidarity economy, you have values like inclusion, social justice, local autonomy, fair governance, for instance. So it's very important to deal with these three key principles to be part of a social solidarity and economy, and to trying to know who is part with me in this social and solidarity economy. That's why, given that this concept is quite fuzzy, and as well that there is only three key pillars to define or to shape a little bit the form of this part of the economy. We can see that the social and solidarity economy can be understood in terms of four closely but related complementary concepts. The first one is about social. These regroup associations, cooperatives, mutual societies, and foundations. These organizations are based on the principle of democratic governance and non-profit making. So when you are an association, a cooperative, or mutual society and foundation, you are very focused on impact, and you are a non-profit organization. So this is important because all the things you earn as money for grants and all is invested or is leading to your mission, your social or environmental mission. Here, I hear a lot of people speaking about needs and women empowerment. So, as as a association, for instance, all your grants are focused on your message about empowered people, empowered youth, and empowered women. As well, the complementary concept is about solidarity. It's like the group's ambition is social transformation. You focus on inclusion, the fight against inequality, and local empowerment. As well, you are considered as a third sector. So you are an intermediate space, as I was saying, between state and market. It covers all forms of organization that serve a collective non-profit purpose. The notion of collective is very important in this concept because you are working as a collective to go to your social and environmental mission. You, as actor of the social and solidarity economy, you recognize that you are not alone and that alone you cannot achieve all your mission. So you have to be a collective, and you have to be sure that your governance is as well democratic, to be sure to achieve it. This is very important. And the last one is about the non-profit sector. So all structure or reinvest their profit in their social mission or environmental mission. And it's largely based on volunteer commitment and solidarity. Indeed, as part of this sector, as you are focused on social, you are a collective group working on a social purpose. It's very important to know that you have volunteer, and some organizations are working with volunteers to achieve their local mission. And this is something very important to consider in your mind as part of the social and solidarity economy. Before I go through part three, have you any question or any point, or all is it clear? Well, I don't see hand raised and all, so I think all is clear. So we'll go through principle and structure right now. So about principle, as I was saying, as member of social and solidarity economy, you have five principles working on every organization. The first is your goal. So the priority is given to the goal you want to achieve for the community or for the cause you are trying to solve or to work on. And it's not economic, only economic. It's about community, it's about environmental issues sometimes, but all is driving by social impact. This is something very important to consider and to recognize other people and other organizations on your context that could be part of social and solidarity economic, especially for advocacy, because once you recognize someone or another entity working through these five principles, maybe you can be and go for advocacy on your own country to to strengthen, for instance, the legal framework, to raise as well some issues you are facing with as a member of this part of the economy and this sector. The second one is about democratic governance, as I spoke about that. It's about one person equal one vote, regardless the capital invested. When you're part of a board member of this kind of organization, you are not looking at the capital invested by every person. You're just seeing the social impact you want, and you are taking decision for achieve it. And this is your main focus. This is not about capital, and there is no equality between members. This is the part that in the board, one person equal one vote, so everyone has the same power. And this is something important to be sure that all is democratic and all the decision are well recognized by everybody. As well, you have a freedom of membership. This is something important because freedom and voluntary membership are very important. And you have a possibility as member to leave the structure when you want. As if you think that you give all you can give to this organization, you can decide to leave one structure. You should just inform it and go through the governance process. But this is something totally okay. And as well, all person in board member um, have not have no income coming from this structure. All the board member are volunteer, and this is something very important. The criteria as well of independence is very important because even if you are working in partnership with the state, you are independent and you are managing some autonomy from the state. You are not part of the state, you are not part of the market, you are an intermediate space to respond to needs about people you are working with. And this is something important. And the last one is the most evident, I think so. You are human centered. So you work with people and people are working for your social goal. And this is something very important that everybody working on your organization is driving by social impact that it can have on human. And so this is part of the values you have as member of social and solidarity economy in your country, in the continent, and as well worldwide. And this is something very important to consider, that this are key principle working worldwide, regardless where you are. So right now, just to give you a typology about actor working part of social and solidarity economy, just to be honest, it's possible that some type of this actor maybe has no have no don't have legal framework on your country. This is something important to consider because in Africa right now, the social and legal framework are currently building. So some countries don't have legal framework right now. But I tried to just give you an overview of all the kind of actors are working in this sector. So the first one for sure is associations. Associations are based on projects of general interest or non-profit organization and have democratic governance, especially at board level. So this is, I think, the most known kind of organization working on social and solidarity economy. You have as well cooperative because member are sharing the management as well, and they are equitably distributed benefit between each other. So there is as well an idea about equality on this kind of structure, even if they can have some profit. The fact is all the profit could be distributed equitably on an equal way, and as well the member are users of the services of cooperative as well. The first one is about foundation. It's when you have capital dedicated to public interest, rigorous governance as well. So maybe you can have foundation from companies as well, or from very well-known person, and they take some part of the capital, and they choose to just dedicate it to public interest and not to profit things. And so this is where you can have as well some powerful partnership in terms of money, because this is the kind of actor in this sector that have money. And so maybe if you can have sometimes partnership between them and you, it could be very benefit from both of you if you're driving by the same social impact. The other kind of actor working on this sector is mutualist or mutualist company. So this is a resource pooling collective service doing in an equalitarian governance. You can see it a lot for insurance or banking for farmers, for instance. You can see farmers pooling themselves and just invest collectively their money to be sure if there is, I don't know, some climatic crisis on all, then they can have some money to just well survive or dealing with a crisis and be resilient. So this is not like bank or insurance in a profit way. This is really about mutualizing resources to respond to crises or to services that people are needed. And the last one is maybe the new one is social enterprise. This is enterprise that are combining economy and social or and environmental, and they they keep the they keep social and environmental mission as first, but they are trying as well to be profitable and to have a balance between economy and social. This is a combination. So this is quite an hybrid model between non-profit economy at all and profit focus in economy. This is a new one, and that's why the definition is quite fuzzy about context, but because every year and every decade you have new actors which are appeared in social and solidarity economy, because they are working as intermediate between state and company. They are not big company for profit, but they can do profit and reinvest this profit on their mission. So this is the difference between normal enterprise and social company, if I can say that. So in summary, when we are seeing all the principle on the actor, it's important to say that at the end, it's not a legal form, it's an ethical way of doing business. Which is the most important is the goal you want to achieve in this economy and how you do it. If you are doing it in an equitable way, because when you are part of social and solidarity economy, you transform the way to do business and to meet social, economic, and environmental challenges. That's why this sector of the economy is very important. And as well, it's a very key leverage for economic growth in each country. That's why a lot of countries are right now interested in creating legal framework and wall because it's very important for them to catch all the work you are doing in this sector. Just coming to the chat to see if is there any question. There is no question, so I hope all is clear for you. Okay, all is clear for you. It's because as you are part of this economy, I think I'm just giving an overview of things you already know and already experiment every day. And I would like to, I just take the opportunity to say thank you to Beatrice, who is managing all the moderation of the session. And I see what Will Tuipas want to say something. Is it right?
Yeah, I'd like to ask you, for example, for the last model, is organization like OpenAI can be classified in such model? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat your question? It was cutting a little bit, so I was not able to hear
Yeah.
about 80%.
Okay. I would like to know the last model, what we say is like hybrid between the two, with profit and non-profit. Organization like OpenAI can be classified in such model. Thank you.
Well, it depends about the status mostly, and because when you are part of a social and solidarity economy, you have to write it in the status that you are social and or environmental driving and impact first. For instance, I know a social enterprise which is working on several countries in Africa. So in Morocco, in Madagascar as well, and this is a social enterprise. Why? Because, well, the founder name is Patricia, and she is fighting against food waste with an application. And this is the first thing writing in their legal status as company, but the market in Morocco, for instance, it's 42 billion of dollars. So even if she is working on social impact and all, she is working on a profitable sector because of the size of market. So that's why she is part of the social and solidarity economy, because in all your status and all this process, she thinks a lot about how to manage decent work, how to manage equality between members on his board and all, on her board and all. But at the end of the day, because of this sector, she is doing profit. She's reinvesting all in the technology of the app and all, but she is working in a profitable way. So this is where it's quite hybrid. It depends when you are writing status, if you explicitly say that you are working of a social or environmental goal. I'm not, I hope I was clear. As well as I just want to say for the social enterprise or company, that for a lot of countries, this is not something legally defined. So it's quite as well a fuzzy concept. And right now, everyone could say, okay, I'm a social enterprise, but the thing is doing the difference is very the social impact driven. That's why it's very important to consider why are you launch a social company. If it's for profit, well, it's not part of social and solidarity economy. It's part of, well, private sector. But if you are focusing on social and environmental issues first, and you're trying to solve it and all, and you have a mindset to equality on your board, to response to local needs, and you have a mindset of inclusion as well in your company, it's part of the social and solidarity economy, even if your country has no regulation on that. That's why right now it's quite strange because some organizations are saying that they are social enterprises, but when you are listening to them or speak like that, you you can see that it's not really social entrepreneurship. It's mostly for profit entrepreneurship. I hope as was clear because it's like a new concept that everyone is trying to say, okay, I'm on it, but well, if you just see how an organization works, you will know if it's a social and solidarity economy organization of it's mostly an economic person. This is a good transition, I think so, for the next part, except if I have one more question.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that it could be a way to raise to gain and raise money for to create some kind of creation of income to after getting that income to invest in the implementation of our kind of project we are implementing in our association. That's the thing that in the way we are raising out which kind of possibility or way to get a grant or fund to organization. Thank you.
Well, I will give you one example that I know, and if it's in Morocco. For instance, in Morocco, you have several organization, association, trying to diversify their incomes, and they see social enterprise as an opportunity. But the thing is that at this stage, at this moment in Morocco, there is no regulation about what is a social company or a social enterprise. So the things they are doing is like they are trying to deal with all the regulation because as well at this moment in Morocco it's very complicated for an association to have income, even if at the end you have a balance in the budget and there is no profit. So they are creating a local enterprise, and in the statute they are saying that it's social impact driving about professional insertion of needs, women economic empowerment. Well, it depends about the mission of association and the activity generating outcomes. And as well, they are said in the statutes that all the profit from the company go to this local association as donation. It's not the ideal way to proceed, to be honest, but this is where and how some associations are dealing with the lack of regulation or with some legal complexity, you know. Well, it depends about your country and the legal framework mostly, but there is solution. Maybe sometimes just go 1 hour to see and to speak with a lawyer could as well be a good option. A good option to give you all the things are possible and how to manage this diversification of funding. If it's maybe better to be an association or a social company or cooperative, because it depends about your mission. It depends about your the incomes you want to have as well. So it depends about a lot of things. I hope that my answer helps, but really you have to maybe speak to your ecosystem in the country to just have an overview of what's of the thing and the leverage opened for you.
Thank you so much. It's very clear.
Well, I will go for the fourth part, but at the end of the session we will have a discussion. So just to be sure that everybody will participate in. So, but right now I will go for part 4 about context of social and solidarity economy in Africa. So you have to know that in the world, in some countries, for instance, well, mostly the Occidental countries, because of the formalization of all the legal framework, the social and solidarity economy account for 10 up 15% of GDP. So it's a very key leverage of economic growth and development for this country. And this is something important because it represents in Africa, there is a lot of social and solidarity economic stakeholder. It represents thousands or millions of organizations across the continent, including cooperatives, social societies, associations, foundation, and as well social enterprise. This is something important because it's as well a player for professional insertion for to respond as well to needs issues. For instance, social and solidarity economy is part of the solution as well. So this is important to integrate it and just to see that social and solidarity economic actors are training people and young people to integrate private sector. This youth can as well integrate the social and solidarity economy sector, not because of charity, but because it's economically important and relevant for every country. This is important to have it in mind because in some country, this kind and this part of economy are a little bit perceived as charity organization and not a way to do a career and to build a professional career. But it could be, and it could be a very interesting career as well. So it makes a significant contribution to the creation of decent jobs, particularly for young people and women in sectors as agriculture, health, education, financial services, especially with mutualist societies as banking or insurance, and as well for the environment sector. For instance, as I was speaking about a food, an app fighting against food waste, it's creating job, and as she's thinking in a social and solidarity economic manner, the job are decent job, and and this is something very important to consider, especially for incomes and all, because even in compared to private sector, incomes are lower. If you see comparing to other sector, well, the income could be very decent and could, help you to evolve in your career as social worker. This is something very important. And just to finish, for instance, in Morocco, right now, without legal framework, social and solidarity economy represent 2% of GDP, and with all new regulation and incentive, it will go up to 7%. And so this is something very important for government, and this is big. This is the reason why they are interested a lot in this sector, and why international cooperation are as well interesting in this sector of social and solidarity economy. So, but you have to know that, as I was speaking before, the social and solidarity economic in Africa are characterized by a wide diversity of players and projects. First, there is a lot of kind of structures and governance, as we just saw, as many organizations implement participatory governance model. This approach enables more equitable distribution of resources and strengthens the territorial roots of initiative. For instance, this is the case for cooperative, especially for women cooperative. When women are working collectively and they are working in this kind of framework, it helps her a lot to have equitable incomes and to strengthen all the local market, for instance. So this is something very important. And as well, this sector is as well part of innovation, because you are encouraging innovative initiative in education, in professional insertion, in as well social entrepreneurship and tech, as well as right now a lot of organization are integrating tech solution to answer local needs. And as well, the circular economy could help to build new economic and social system model. And this new model will help to meet the needs of local population. So this is very important to think that right now, this economic sector is more and more recognized, and as well is more and more part of innovation, and to test as well new way to respond to local needs. So right now, it's important as well to be clear about the challenging you are facing too, and as well the opportunity you can have as a stakeholder in this sector in Africa. So the first, and I think you agree with me that the first challenging is about limited access to financing or to funding, because there is a lack of mechanism to support solidarity structures over the long term. Most countries are just applying the mechanisms of funding from private sector, while profitable enterprise to solidarity and social economy stakeholder. And it's not the best thing to deal with, because as you are focusing and driving to impact, you are not profitable as a normal, a regular enterprise. So it's important to know how to manage and how to build a new mechanism as well, to be sure that this kind of mechanism of fund support you and help you to build new and sustainable structure as well. Well, the second one I spoke a lot about that is about insufficient regulatory framework, as there is a low institutional recognition, and for some country there is an absence of specific public policies, so there is no special leverage, there is no any recognition for social workers working on this sector. So some of these workers could be as well not recognized and informal. So it could be very a challenge for you as a social and solidarity economic stakeholder. As well, there is a lack of training and support, because if it's not recognized by your state as an important part of the economy, you will not have appropriate skills training program for project manager, and as well for strategic well skills to manage, which these skills are important to manage this kind of organization as well, because at the end, when you are trying to just combine economic way, profit sometimes with, or how to reinvest all your income in the social impact you want to have and environmental impact, it's very important to have person well trained on this kind of things and on this kind of issues and problematics, and how to solve a problem in combining all these elements. And so it could be a challenge for your organization to have staff trained and able to understand all the manner and all the context of social and solidarity economic. And as well, the last challenge you can have, depending your country, you can have, and you have to find some time with a negative image, not you, but all the sector, because you are, as there is no formation and training in adequate, as there is no regulation, as there is limited access to finance, sometimes some people are seeing you as non-professional, and they are just scary to work with NGO, local associations, or cooperative. And this is because of this, all of the challenge I explained before. There is this kind of perception. So, and all these perceptions are not correct, because in the ecosystem you have, and I'm sure you are, um, a well-structured organization, and you are working very well, and you are complying with all the donors regulation and obligation, and this is something very nice. But people out of the context sometimes as show the sector as something negative or not very important. Well, I spoke about challenge. It's important to speak as well about opportunity, because, as I said, this economic sector will become a driving force for sustainable development in Africa if it's better equipped, recognized, and supporting. And this is something very important, and this is something that we have to advocate on. And that's why I think during this all this process of youth empowerment summit, we will work as well on a policy paper. And I think this could be part about this advocacy paper, because this is something very important for the development of your sector and for the development of your own organization. So to do that, it's important to consider multi-stakeholder partnership, because in the ecosystem, you have and you can have alliance with other organizations as donor, for instance, with local business and as well with NGO to have funds and to have a bigger impact. And this is very important to consider that you cannot act alone. You have to see and to develop multi-stakeholder partnership because it's important to not be dependent on one way of collaboration, but having a multi-stakeholder partnership helps you to be sustainable and to build your impact. As well, digital innovation is something to see as an opportunity because with all the technology and the digital innovation coming every day, it helps you to save time and as well um, to deal and to work on a collaborative way and to go faster as well if you can be integrated in this technological innovation. This is something important to have in mind that it's important to just embrace sometimes the technological innovation to be competitive as well with our other sector and to have the same understanding of the ecosystem you are living in. And the last one is about inclusion and social cohesion, because as I said before, if um, if social and solidarity economic sector could go up to 15% of GDP, it's creating local job, it's meeting as well basic needs of people, of communities, and so it's strengthening society. And so this is something very important because we have always to keep the social mission at the heart of our organization. The last part before the discussion is about we will go towards a favorable and a positive ecosystem for social and solidarity economic. So first, it's important to see all the positive economic that is raising right now for the social and solidarity economic sector. The first one is a lot of African countries are working on new regulatory framework because they are recognizing that the sector is a leverage for their development. I saw Morocco and Senegal, but I'm sure that in your own country there is a lot of regulation and a lot of possibility about building law, and a lot of government are working on this law about social and solidarity framework. This is something important. And as well, there is a lot of entities supporting this structuration. We can see network and platform as the Y.E.S Africa Summit, for instance. And you can have as well African platform, country platform, and regional or local platform to help you to advocate for more grants, for having a social status for social workers, for instance, or for as well just be recognized as an organization and a sector contributing to the development of your community. As well as you have Solidarity Founder as an impact fund and some subsidies which are especially dedicated to this kind of enterprises and part of the sector for association, for cooperative, for social company, as well as mutualist companies. There is a lot of new grants or subside or as well kind of funding dedicated to your sector. Because of that, this kind of founder could be local for the microfinance one, for instance, or as well international, on as well coming from the local and all the public you can raise with social media. I'm thinking especially about the diaspora. African diaspora is very important. So maybe you can have some mechanism of microfinance, of as well of participative finance for your initiative, thanks to social media and some platform. I'm thinking especially about crowdfunding, for instance, if it's possible in your country, for sure. And as well, you have social incubator for the one which wants to develop a social company or a new way to diversify funding. It's important to see, for instance, Impact Lab. They are working in all Africa, and they could help you to just go to the design of your project until the operation and the closure of your project as well. This is something very important to consider, maybe. And as well, as I was saying, you cannot act alone. You have to build on strategic alliance to accelerate and to be a key partner to solve the problem you are working on, and to be sure that your impact is becoming bigger and bigger. The first one for sure are local authorities when they are existing and important. So they are very important person because they can help you in and give you logistical support, for instance, and they can help you in integrating your 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 entity into local development plan. For instance, for a lot of countries in Africa, there is plans and special incentive for cooperative or for other organizations solving a strategic issue, which is writing in development plan, local development plan, for instance. As well, you have university because they have incubators program. They have as well research action program, more and more. And this is helping you to measure your impact and to show to everyone that this is the work that you are doing is very important, is very key to be sure that the growth is inclusive in your country, and but you need sometimes evidence to demonstrate that, and university could be a key stakeholder to support you on this kind of things, and to at the end this will help you to demonstrate your impact and to grow and to have more funds as well. That's why it could be important to integrate universities in your approach. And the last one is about international cooperation because of technical support for development. You can have exchange with other country, with other reality to think about how you could act, and as well on what you have to advocate maybe in your home country, and what could be a solution about an issue you have. And this is something very important to consider, that for sure international cooperation give a lot of grants. They are seen as financial partner. This is something true, but they can give you as well technical support to support your development as organization and as sector as well. So it's very important to have brainstorming with them, to keep them updated about your reality, because they will support you in designing relevant solution related to your context. So this was the last part of my presentation. Before we go through the discussion with some question, maybe I just want to ask if you need any clarification and if you want to just share some insights. As we are 31, normally I think there is a lot of insight. I saw Bukar at Y.E. raising hand, if I'm right. The floor is yours.
Hi Manon, it's Atiai.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking us through this wonderful presentation. I must confess that you've done justice to the slides. So I actually don't have a question per se, but I just want to emphasize looking at, well, I quite see the social and solidarity economy as this rich topic that per se that could, like, to me, may not necessarily be grabbed as a whole in this presentation. So I consider it very rich, and I was looking at opportunities to see if there are other ways we can engage with you further on this to particularly learn more about social and solidarity economy. So this is just my input. Thank you and over.
Thank you to your input. And yes, definitely, well, for the preparation of this Yes Summit Africa, you have a MOOC on that to learn a little bit more about what I was saying. And as well as a Camlin Lab organization, we are as well working on this kind of problematic. And so if you are interested in, maybe we can have individual or bilateral talk as well if you want to go deeper and to go especially on your regulatory framework from your country, because as very more than 50 countries in Africa, I was not able to saw every legal framework and how to manage the solidarity economic in all the countries. So I had to do the choice of give you an overview. But if you want to go deeper in your own context, taking into account all the challenges, yes, is totally possible. Online or during the summit, I will be with you as a coach as well, so we can have talk and speak about that. I hope so. I'm very exciting about this summit and to see you all well face to face. I don't know if there is other insight or if there is a clarification needed, because I know that I'm not a native English speaker, so maybe there is misunderstanding. So I saw Sophie raising hands, so the floor is yours.
Hi, good day, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the session. Yeah, can you hear me, please? Just confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, right now we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, thank you so much for the session. So my question is, not with respect to what was discussed, it was quite clear. Uh, Last week we made, because my executive director of Living by Mental Health Foundation, she had a question around the visa for the summit at Morocco, and we're assured that by Thursday or Friday last week, we would get the feedback, but we are still yet to get the feedback from the team. So I was wondering if uh, that can be tracked or anything of that sort. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'm working on all the curriculum and all the training session. I'm not working for the summit for the logistic and the visa aspects, but I will. I'm sure that the team is working on that already. but I will just be sure about that after the call and saying it to the right team. So sorry,
Oh,
because as I'm not working on that, I cannot answer directly, but I can do a follow-up.
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw another hand raised, so go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Um, I'm particularly interested in the SSE models because you talked about like where you present associations, foundations, and so I'm running a foundation, and as I indicated when I introduced myself earlier, I do advise the African Union on how to harness emerging technologies to improve the livelihoods of the citizens. So this actually made me to travel the length and breadth of Africa, and I've seen quite a lot of intimidation to the youth movements, the youth foundations across the continent, especially the likes of the ones that I am running. Um, One element that I do is that I train youth and women actually who also want to run for political office, and that's where the friction will be between the government and the foundations that runs like me, where they feel that okay, we've been presidents, we've been ministers for long, and we don't want to be challenged. So, who are you to bring the train people who are going to be challenging us? So, I don't know the advice that we can give towards the organizations that are like mine, who are facing intimidation and closure in terms of um, I think compliance. How do we capitalize on compliance? Because I know that in some countries you'll be told that your your bank account should not have less than this much if you want your foundation to keep on running. Or at times you even have to declare your finances to your register, often so that they can know how you are using your finances. So how do you continue to live within your mandate and not really don't bow to the pressures of the regulators?
Well, it's a relevant question. Thank you for raising it. Well, I think it depends about your reality, and I think this is where well, it's important to know the compliance, especially for donor and all, before deciding or defining the legal framework of your organization, because sometimes, depending the country where you are operating, the same words does have not the same meaning. For instance, as you are a foundation in France has no I don't have the same meaning than in United States, for instance. So this is very important to when you are defining the legal framework or when you are thinking about a new legal framework for your organization and to operate. It's important to have legal advice, and we forgot this a lot, and to do a pastel analysis, a political, economic, social, technologic, and legal analysis, because this is where you can have sometimes the key for intimidation and for as well sometimes this kind of things. This is where, even if you don't comply with the criteria eligibility of compliance of some organization, it's important to build strength partnership to be sure that even if you are not complying with because you have a lack of experience, um, you are um, you are a small association, so you don't have a big rent. It's important to integrate the ecosystem with some which are already recognized by the other, and they give to you credibility. Um, and after this project, you can have another one, and after you can go by your own and have and be empowered and like comply with all the criteria and the important criteria. This is the way that it's important. It's very important to do network and as well to be sure about the legal framework. And after, it depends of the country. For sure, in some country is easier than in other, depending of the political context, of as well the economic context, and so, well, I think we need hours and hours to speak and to give you the right advice to answer your question for sure. But I hope that this insight helps a little bit. And after, I'm very happy to continue the conversation if you want, because I think it's very interesting. And I think if there is no hand raised, we can go for the last slide. Well, and the floor is yours because I have question for you because I'm very happy to learn about your experience in your country. So I want to know, well, we already start with, but I want to know what's your perception of the social and solidarity economy in your country. What's the challenge you are facing and you try to address, and as well, how do you plan to contribute to the development of this sector at a local level or as well at a national level or at continental level? So for me, it's very important to understand a little bit more as well the perception you have about social and solidarity economy in your country. What kind of challenge are you facing? As we were just talking, to maybe give you some advice, trying to orient you if you want, and as well, what do you plan to contribute to the development of this sector? Because it's very important, to support this sector, it's important to advocate, to document and capitalize on the things you're doing well, and as well to demonstrate the impact you have to the others as well. Because sometimes when you are working on social and solidarity economic, you are working on impact, you are serving your community, and you are very human-centered, and you can forget about communication and about how to show to the others what I'm doing. And this is not at the heart of your mission, and it should not, but it could help to raise funds and to just be there and be a decision maker. So I'm just curious about listen from you based on this question. I don't know if anybody have input. Yes, Sally Titler, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shay Titler from Emerging Communities, Africa. I'm speaking from Nigeria, and I would speak about SES in Nigeria. I would say that it's not explicitly labeled as SES. However, you would see a very high dominance of cooperatives and thrifts for people in the informal market. Also people in agriculture as well. So cooperative societies, the number of those. Also, you'd see a bit of some social enterprises focusing on climate, energy, healthcare, and those also foundations and associations. However, we face a number of challenges. such as, I mean, infrastructure, access to finance, which is a major challenge for sustaining a lot of projects. Also the sort of like long-term sustainability of a project, which is dependent of funding over a long period, is also a huge challenge that is faced here with our projects, such that projects are funded for a very short term, and at the end of the funding, the project sadly comes to an end,
Mhm.
especially in environments, I mean, like in Nigeria, where there's a lot of economic hardship. Um, it means that when the project has ended and there's no more funding, even volunteers and people who were employed in the program also lose their employment, lose their livelihood, which is one of the challenges that we face. Um, and and that's why you see a lot of non-profits trying to diversify the sources of income to ensure that they are also able to earn money from other enterprises or other projects or initiatives in their association. That's kind of like an overview.
Th- Thank you for the overview. I think it illustrates very well all I was saying. And I just maybe have one question. Are you advocating, especially for the like of finance, sorry, um, or how are you dealing with this issue of finance?
Okay, so I'm advocating for two things. Structure. So for a lot of Nigerian non-profits, you just there's not a sort of like a structured legal framework yet. Even though you just need to be registered, there is no structure as to how the association or as to how in general SSE should run here. So people kind of sort of like learn on the job to figure out what works for organizations. Now, for the funding bit, yes, of course, advocating for more sustained funding models, really. Advocating for funders to also look inward and honestly be able to say that, honestly, to understand that for a project to actually be sustained and for the impact of the project to really be felt across the participants, then the funding has to be sustained for a longer time. However, it's also important for us as non-profits to look at our projects such that it is also able to self-sustain at the end of the funding cycle. Um, and sort of like placing maybe, I don't know, maybe participants or the people who have been beneficiaries rather of the project, such that they're also able to earn an income, and the project they're able to give back such that the project's impact is sustained. So yeah, that is what I advocate for.
I totally understand this is the main problem that NGO are facing, especially in Africa, but not only in Africa. And this is true that donors are expecting to you that you have to solve a big problem and with a big impact, but in a 3 year or 1 year project, it's quite non-possible. Even I don't know,
Exactly.
miracle maybe, but I totally understand, and that's why I think it's important to advocate and as well to just say, okay, so if you know that you will don't found it for years, it as well they can support you to see how could you found it in a different way. And this is the way I think to build not only financial partnership but as well long-term partnership, because maybe it's true that strategic of donor can change and all, but I think they have a role to play as well to think with you how to your project could be sustainable. Well, I see that over raised amp. I think that this kind of thoughts are important. So maybe Engul Saleh first, and as well Buru Kotola. Sorry if I hope that I'm pronouncing all the name well. If not, you can correct me.
Mhm.
No problem.
Okay. I think you called my name, Imali.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Yeah. So my name is Imali from Kenya. And as far as SSE is concerned, we have different groups that are listed as SSE pegged on just your presentation. We have SACCOs, which are savings and credit cooperative organizations. These are usually for profit, and they're integral part of the society because basically they are more or less like mini banks, but you get to save, and then after a year you get, I think, between 10 to 15% of the value of money you have or assets that you have with this SACCO, depending on. And also that is also pegged on the, currently we have a very high taxation. So sometimes you can get return on investment, but then it's taxed. So it's not as much as it used to be. Then we also have another one that's community-based models, normally called chamas, and these are basically informal savings. These have worked very well, especially in the rural settings where different people contribute either on a weekly or monthly basis, but then they put their pot of funds to a place where their money accrues interest. But now, because of the different, we've also had fraud. Because of frauds, many individuals are encouraged to register their chamas, and also for SACCOs, you cannot operate autonomously. There is SASRA, which is like a regulatory authority established so that appropriate and transparent measures are taken in place. So because SACCOs, there's an act that was legislated, I think, in 2008 in Kenya. It basically outlines everything, including registration and licensing. Sadly, we've had SACCOs that started very strong and then just closed abruptly because either maybe they invested like maybe in the American stocks and now Trump came in and it closed, or just something happened, then they close. And then by law, you can only retrieve maybe $5,000, even though you invested more. Actually, almost 5,000 or less, depending on how the organization was registered and the membership prerequisites. So they've worked in Kenya because some SACCOs have really helped people to be elevated from not having a house to owning a house. And some SACCOs have made people who are rich to be very poor because of the interest rate, and maybe they invested too much and then the SACCOs closed. So there's the risk to it. For NGOs, how nonprofit like ours, the best way to leverage in such entities is to get a pot of funds that maybe we can agree with the donor from a part of it from the project, and then invest for like maybe 12 months in a reputable SACCO or a chama, and then get return on investment, because you usually get between 10 to 15 on the SSC, in this case SACCO or chama. So if you get 10% of the value of the money invested, you see you have more money, so you can use the same money to increase salary and cover overheads for your staff. So that's how it works. Maybe if you have more questions on the same. But for us now, because of the increasing fraud cases, it's becoming very difficult to just come and create a SACCO like it was 10 years ago. You have to go through diligent process. You have to make that it's linked to a bank. And then the members of the SACCO, the board members, and everyone affiliated to it are vetted just in case of anything. For chamas, it's different because if it's registered, it helps. If it's not registered, the one who stores the money is the one. Unfortunately, if they die with all your money. Yeah. So thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Imali, for this overview. And I have an understanding about this kind of thing because before I found Camlin Lab, I was working for an NGO working about savings and social savings with women and youth especially. So I very know this kind of challenges as well as the taxation. that is a big issue, and this is part of the legal framework. As well, most of time, the taxation for all the sector are not appropriate at all, and it's a big challenge for social workers and social and solidarity economy stakeholders to comply with all the due diligence process as well to all the taxation, and it's it even could be a problem to just achieve your impact. So I totally understand on that, and yeah, I know that as well. Well, in Africa, in several countries in Africa, saving or while doing it in a local way in the community with well, person you know, your family, your friends, your colleagues as well, work colleagues, and it was doing in an informal way. And right now, for sure, yeah, bank and all the system want to be sure that everything is formalized. So you have to deal as well with not only creation, you're right, but as well how to manage and be sure that this kind of mechanism are safe and legal to be sure that all the money well is not taking for something else or for another person and just don't go to the right canal. But this is right. This kind of mechanism as well help a lot of people to just have home, to invest. Sometimes in their small business as well, and to as well to with it can help as well with health issues or disease and problem. So you're totally right. And I think I saw another hand raised. This is Boru Kotola.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Borofotola. You are pronouncing my name in direct and exactly how it's pronounced. Uh, I want to thank you for this nice and very clear presentation on social solidarity economy. Here, and my name is Borukotola. I live here in Ethiopia. Also work here in Ethiopia. In Ethiopia context, for humanitarian actors, that the solidarity SSE context is very recommended. By the way, there is a limitation on operational cost and admin cost. There is, you can use only 20% and under for admin cost. If it is over 20%, maybe the government reject every project has been looking by the government and observed and audited by the government as your energy is local and under the context of the government, so that we can only use 20% of the total budget. Maybe it's difficult some of the time if it's depending on the project duration and the project type and the fund amount. It's depending on it. Some of the time we can't work on that 20%. It can't cover all the overhead cost of the office or the overall the salary of the people. It's difficult some of the time, but maybe in this context, maybe it's nice, but we have to focus on the objective of the project. That's why I thought maybe the government focusing on the project and the objective of the project. Maybe I think it's that. And other thing is all the partner was saying that. I wanted to only say this. Thank you very much again.
Thank you to you, and you're right. Thank you for your intervention. You're right that sometimes, and well, most of time, when you're drafting a budget, you the administrative costs are very low, and 20% is like one of the biggest percent you can have. And well, I fundraise a lot of fund for NGO well, in North Africa especially. And the thing I was dealing with this kind of issue was about, well, with the finance director, we work a lot on thinking how we can integrate this in all the direct costs. And the fact and the things we did a lot, it was about demonstrating why this administrative cost could be considered as well as direct cost, because well, sometimes you have I I'm right, a finance software, you have as well a director, you have sometimes someone fundraising funds and all. And for all these kind of expense which are not considered typically as direct cost for donor and for government as well, we just demonstrate and thinking it in a private way. Like, for instance, if you want your project to be sustainable as donor, you need a person fundraising fund for the project and for the other project, because if and it's part of the direct cost as donor, you ask for sustainability and durability in your physical manner. And this was well, it's a very quick argumentation. The explanation was like 5 pages at the end, and all to explain how some administrative costs could be considered as a direct cost. It was the same for the financial softwares, as you want tracking all expense and all and things like that. Okay, but we need a software. And if I have 10 projects, you have to pay like the 10% of the amount of the financial software to be sure that your project is tracking well with all the software and all the options we have to do it. And this was the way we were dealing to integrate administrative cost in the direct cost. I'm not saying that all the donors are accepting this. I'm not saying that you have costs which are not direct at all. They are purely administrative. This is true. But it's important as well sometimes to change your mindset and things as well as private sector, and be very precise about the guidance. I was speaking about sustainability, and sometimes taking this kind of word and saying, okay, you want a sustainable project, and with their own generating the outcome and all. So to do that, I need someone structuring this, and this is skills, and this is hard skill, and I have to pay that. And sometimes this is the kind of explanation you can try, and negotiation. It's a lot of negotiation you should have with this kind of person, to change as well your mindset. Because as I was saying before, when you are speaking about social and solidarity economic, a lot of person are thinking about voluntary work, but it's not only what voluntary work is as well, well, skills and special skills to manage a project well. So I hope this help a little bit, all this insight. Well, I don't see any other hand raised. I don't know if anybody else wants to share anything. I saw the hands of Mala. Go ahead. No? Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, mine. I would comment on the question that you asked, but I think what the two previous speakers have spoken about is much similar to what we are facing here in Botswana. And okay, mine is just my contribution to the to the development of the sector, and also trying to solve the problems that we are facing as the SAC players in Botswana. Is that as a policy advisor, I used to work for the Parliament of Botswana, but the thing is now we had a change of government after one party ruled for 58 years last year. So we only have a new party in place in governance now, less than, okay, let me just say today is the 200th day as the new ruling party. So I think they are still in the learning curve. And of course, I'm trying to reach out to the Speaker of the National Assembly and his deputy to actually have them, have the dialogue on behalf of especially youth and women along the areas. But then, okay, I'm still waiting for the response, because there's the answers that you often get from them is that we are still in the learning curve. I will get back to you. Well, I'm still waiting for the permanent secretary to brief me. So it's still going to be, a bit of struggle going forward as Botswana, but we don't lose hope. But then also I just wanted to know if there is a way that we can reach you beyond this presentation, because there is a lot that we, especially from my organization, would like to interact with you even beyond this presentation. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Well, I will give my email on the chat bot. So as everybody know my email, I am as well on LinkedIn, for instance, and all. And I totally understand, for especially if the political is has changed, is new, and they have to have a deep understanding about all the sector and all. Definitely, it takes time. Working with institutional government and actor is long time. It's you need to be patient, to be honest, and to try again and again and again. And definitely, we can have a talk on this kind of issue, to how to raise awareness maybe for them, how to work with them as well. So happy to share and to continue our discussion. Well, before I think we are ending the session, maybe I will ask. I would like to take a picture, if it's okay. So the person who wants to turn on the camera, it would be very appreciated. The person who don't want, it's okay, totally. But I would be very happy to see your face if you want before we go. So just taking a picture about this beautiful moment. I was so happy to share about this social and solidarity economy sector. I hope it was very helpful for you, and I will be very happy to hear more about you and to see you as well on the submit. Maybe, I'm not sure, but you will have other session. Well, you will have other session before the submit on social business as well, on communication, on monitoring, evaluation, and on how to pitch. You will see me again probably in French or English, depending on the session and the availability of all the persons. So I was very happy to share this moment with you. I hope all was clear and useful for you. And I give as well a special thanks to Beatrice for all the chat moderation and the coordination for the session.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you to you. Have a nice evening, a nice afternoon, and a nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir. Au
Thank
revoir.
Au
you
revoir.
all to your participation.
Bonne
Have
soirée.
a good. Merci, pareil à vous.
Merci, pareil à vous.
Merci.
Merci.
Bonne journée.